What's up, y'all? How's it going? How's it going? Mic check. Should I buy the Sony Alpha? Which Alpha? The 5 or the R6? The Sony A5 or the R6 Mark and the R6 Mark III, or which R6? Good question. Which Canon though? Not the Canon R6 Mark 1. Between the R6 Mark III and the Alpha 5, at that point you're really just picking between the brands. I own the Canon R6 Mark III and it's fantastic, but the Alpha 5 is also great. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome in, welcome in. Getting an early start today, guys. Trying to see, testing out some streaming times. If you guys are just joining over on YouTube, pretty much if you've not been here before, the way it works is if you have any questions about any cameras that you're thinking about buying, just let me know in the comments and we can either talk through it or, yeah, pretty much talk through it. Talk through it and I can give you my opinions and answer specific questions that you may have. If you're coming in from YouTube, what cameras do you currently have and what cameras are you looking at right now? My Sony A7 IV will arrive tomorrow. Sick, bro. Let me see. Do I have here we go. Yeah. Congratulations, broski. Canon M50, please. M50 is nice, dude. The M50, I was really surprised on how well it kept its value, man. The M50 is surprisingly nice. Sony ZV-E10. I like the ZV-E10 too. The ZV-E10 is a little dated at this point. Negative view photo. What up, buddy? It doesn't have value. People here just keep bringing it up. The Canon M system died in 2023. The M system did die, bro. But if you look at the Canon, I wouldn't recommend, you know, what do I want to say? I guess what I was saying is that I'm surprised on how well it kept its value in the used marketplace. Did you see how much the M6 Mark II is? I was looking at this thing yesterday, dude. Look at this. I don't know if, can you see that? Yeah. $1,000. When I saw that, bro, do I think it's worth it? Fuck no, bro. Absolutely not. Yeah, but you know what? To be fair, though, I did like the M50, the M52, and I did like this one. Would I pay this much for it? Absolutely not. You can get it on MPB for $600. Is this a wild price? Fuck yeah, dude. This is crazy expensive, dude. Not worth it at all. Yeah, exactly. The M50 Mark II, the one I gave that camera away to a family member, and when I was looking up the prices, I was like, "Holy shit! These cost still, even used, they cost more than they were brand new." You know what I mean? So, Jeremiah, what up, Jeremiah? How are you? How are you? Yeah. That's how much they were. That's how much they cost back in the day, around $500, $600 with a kit lens. You know, so the fact that they are still around that price, that's what I was referring to. They kept their value, and I was like, wow, holy shit. I was really surprised. I was like, no way. So, we don't buy from B&H. I buy some stuff from B&H. Yeah, and they make great for streaming cameras. Yeah, they do. Not the Mark 50, not the M50 Mark 1, but the 2, and then these ones were nice. I mean, It was like I think for Canon, this was like a gap system, an APS-C gap system in between the EF and the RF system, and yeah, they just kind of fell off and didn't support it. I get it though; they made a business decision, but YouTube world, it's quiet over on YouTube right now. People are still waking up. Hello, mate. What do you think about the MacBook Neo? I just got it for university. It's a tablet laptop. You know, I wouldn't buy one for myself, but then again, I wouldn't buy any MacBook for myself. But it's a good introduction into the ecosystem. That's how they get you. That's how they get you. The M52 is literally the same shit as the M51, clean HDMI. No, it was different. It was essentially the same, but there were some quality of life differences that made the M52 different, bro. So your use of the word literally is literally not correct. It also had unlimited, not unlimited, but it had a feature where not just a clean HDMI, but it gave you a what's it called? Um, no sleep. So like it wouldn't go to sleep on you. So the M50 itself was not very good for streaming because there was no way to turn off the sleep function. You should get an SM7B for real, for real. I like this mic. I need to EQ it a little better though. The Neo is an Apple Chromebook. Essentially, yeah. It has the same chip as the what's it called? The same chip as the uh, an iPhone. What do you think about the Samsung S10 tablet for photo editing? If it can, as long as the tablet can run Lightroom mobile, it's good to go, man. It's good to go. I have a Samsung tablet. I don't use it for editing, but I know it runs Lightroom mobile, and it's just fine. I use Lightroom mobile on my cell phone. You don't need an SM7B anymore. Um, Yeah, they're pretty expensive. There is another mic that I really liked. I just like the look of it. If I could get a good deal on an SM7B, maybe like under 200, under $300, I'd consider picking one up. But this one works great because I have everything Elgato, and I just like the way everything works together really nicely. So you don't need. Is the attachment for the cage on the R50 secure? What are we talking about? You talking about the cage itself, Cass? YouTube, 6 viewers. All right. 6 viewers on YouTube, everybody. Is the attachment? Yeah, if you're talking about just the cage, 100%. I'm using it right now, actually. I have another one. Here we go. This is this camera right here. This is the R100, but the cage for the R50 fits on the R100. It's like the almost very similar body. Not exactly 100% the same body, but it works exactly like it. So this cage right here from Small Rig is from is for the R50, and I just placed it on the R100. So it has, so in terms of secure, it has 3 points of contact. Some cages only have one, which is makes it like it pivots or it twists. This one has three. It has one, two, and then three on each side, so it'll keep it nice and square. And as long as you keep this secure, which look at this, it was already loose on it. But because these are already tight, it won't pivot on you or twist on you. So, yeah. And I have a cage on every single one of my cameras. Every single one. If you guys are interested in any of the stuff that I have, if you're on TikTok, you guys can find my link in bio in my profile page to my entire Amazon storefront. That's where I have everything that I use and own. And I have everything categorized from my YouTube set, my cameras, camera bags, accessories, all that stuff. I even have some cages. The rig for the ZVE10 camera rig right here. So this is everything that I use for the Sony rig that I built out. I built it yesterday, actually. Oh yeah, here it is. Check this bad boy out, you guys. Yeah. Let's see. Ooh, Sony rig. Ooh, for the Sony fanboys. If you're on YouTube, this whole link is available in the first description in the first link in the description. Excuse me. What is the best hybrid camera for photo and video? Canon R6 Mark III. Is the R7 good camera for general use? Hell yeah, dude. Canon R10 or R50? Probably the R10 for sure. Refurbish my Canon X4 and my 3 lens, or sell all my cheap and buy a secondhand cam for portraits. I don't know, bro. What are you doing with your cameras? Just portraits? R50 easy once again. Oh yeah, dude. R50 is the one, dude. I can't get enough of this camera, man. The R50 right here. This camera's fucking sick, broski. I'm gonna probably forever recommend this camera to all the normies, and the noobs. Welcome in, normies and noobs. Yeah, this camera right here. $620, boys. Like R10 versus R50, grab an R50. Yeah, some people don't even want video though. That's the thing, you know. It's easy to forget negative view photo that sometimes we project our own needs on other people's questions. Some people may not need any video-centric photos, you know, or any video-centric cameras. What are your thoughts about SD cards price surge? Zero thoughts. They're gonna get expensive. I have plenty of SD cards that I bought over the years. I also have a NAS system. I have one of these guys. Let me see. Oh, I need to add my NAS system. That's what I should do. Let's edit this. Because this is probably the way that I would be going if I was purchasing one. Ugreen NAS. I have the 6-bay. Here it is, right here. And then what do I have? Western Digital, I think. I bought these right here. Western Digital. I think that's what I had. Whoops. We'll just type in Western Digital HDD. We'll just do these ones right here. I know I got Western Digital. We'll just put a couple of these. Done. Add products. Yeah, but I ultimately got a NAS system. And now I never have to worry about storage. At least for a long time. R5 II or R6 III for sports, photo, and video. If you can afford the R5 II, I would go for the R5 II for sure. Yet when we continually ask, what are you trying to do? They never answer that question. That's true, man. That's true. It's because most people don't know, I think, I've been doing this since part of last year and this year, and you're 100% right, man. That's why I'm going on these lives, bro. That's why I'm going on these lives, trying to answer the simple questions that may be simple to you or I, negative view photo. But they're not very common to the normies. My answers are always, what are you trying to do and how much realistically you trying to spend? I think he's using the R50 for TikTok and R10 for YouTube. Backwards cast. I'm actually using, thank you for answering somebody's question though. I'm using, here we go. For this live right now, boys and girls, I'm using the Canon R50 for, oops, wrong one. This is the Canon R50 for YouTube with a 16 millimeter, and this is an R10 for with a 23 millimeter Sigma, both Sigma lenses. And then yeah, so that's this one with this lens, R10 with a 23 millimeter, and then for this top-down shot right here, I'm using a R50V with an 18 to 50 millimeter lens. It's pretty nice. This is where I do like unboxings and some stuff like that. I just recently set all this up, so I'm still getting used to all the things. It's pretty uniform. And I've been doing this for 20. Congratulations, negative view photo. 26 years ago, I think I was 5 years old, bro. No, 7. Is the 67 good? 6700 good? Hell yeah, bro. What's your ethnicity? Human. I got an EOS 800D right now. What should be the next big upgrade? An R6. An R6 Mark II, at least. What would you suggest as an upgrade from the 18 to 45 millimeter kit lens with similar function? Oh, probably the Sigma, this guy right here. The Sigma 18 to 50, this guy right here. If you guys are interested in any of the stuff that I'm talking about right now, if you're on YouTube, you can find it in the first link in the description. If you're on TikTok, you can find it in my link in bio on my profile page. But the 18 to 50 f2.8 is a monster lens, dude. 9 viewers on YouTube. Woohoo! Is a A7R5 with a 50 good enough for occasional photos with the family? Yes, Barney. Yes, it is. It is very good for occasional photos with the family. That's like, I think that lens is about $4,000 and that camera body is about $4,000, right? So that's about an $8,000 camera or camera kit for casual photos. A7, A7A, what is it? A7, I forgot it already. A7R5. Oh, it's not that expensive. I thought this was at least $4,000. Do they have the 6? This is cheaper than I thought. Wow. Oh, that's used. My bad. How much is it brand new? Wow. It's cheaper new. Oh, this is used as well. What the fuck? Here it is. And then that lens is the 50 to 150, you said? Yeah, that lens is $4,000. Yes, very good for casual photos. This lens is a dream, though. I have a Lumix S5, got a 150 to 600 Sigma, now better. 70 or 20 to 70. Depends on what you're trying to do, man. Is the A7S III good? Yes, it is, boss. The 50 to 150 is a crazy good lens. Agreed. Yeah, the 50 to 150, if they ever bring this over to Canon, I would buy it in a heartbeat. I would sell everything to get one of these lenses. The 50 to 150. Crazy. Why is my question the only one not getting answered? I don't know. I didn't see it. That's why. For photography, is it usually better to get a full frame lens or APS-C lens? I think I'm still going with the APS-C. If you have an APS-C camera, get an APS-C lens. If you have a full frame camera, get full frame lenses. Generally, you can use full frame lenses on crop sensor cameras if the mount is the same. But I wouldn't use an APS-C lens on a full frame camera. You'll have to punch in post. Yo, bro, the Fujifilm X-T30 good or not just for daily? I think it's good for daily use. The X-T33 just came out though, so that's something to consider, and it isn't that much more money, I don't think. Fujifilm. Yeah, this one right here, dude, it's $1,000. This one's great. Look at it. It's sexy as fuck too. Look at it. Ooh, look at this thing. Ooh. Yeah, she nice, dude. She has a film simulation dial right here. Ooh. Yeah, the X-T30. The X-T32 is fine as well, but if you can squeak out the extra gold coins for this one, I'd get this one. What do you like about the X-T30 line, negative view photo? What's the best cam to start vlogging with and use as a webcam around 600? Ooh, the R50V, broski. The R50V. This camera right here. This is the one. I have a 550D and everything is an upgrade, really, but what should I... an R6. An R6 or an R6 Mark II. Or an R8 if you have less money. Really though, the price difference between an R8 and an R6 Mark II now are pretty close, man. Is the full frame versus APS-C low light difference obvious? Yeah, I think so. There's a noticeable difference. You won't really notice it like glaringly, like obviously or very obviously, unless you have them side by side, but because I have access to APS-C cameras and full frame cameras, I notice a difference, sure. It's a great middle point between their travel camera and their proper line of cameras. Yeah, I was looking at the X-T5. I was really liking the X-T5 a lot. I was like, this looks like a nice camera, X-T5. Yeah, this one to me, is this a proper camera? I just like all the stuff that it had. Oh, also, can I ask you, is this 6K, is this 6.2K 30, is this open gate on a crop sensor? Negative view photo? I would interpret this as open gate, right? Should I buy an R8 if one of my lenses is a crop lens? I really wouldn't worry about that crop lens. Either I trade it in or sell it. You can still use it. What crop lens is it? I stream VR and I need a camera. Any suggestions? I stream VR? Do you need a VR lens or are you just filming yourself in VR? I use the X-T5 for photo, and yeah, most of their modern lines have upgraded firmware to have it. Yeah, that's what. So when I see this on Fuji cameras, X 6.2K 30, I'm like, that sounds like open gate to me. I've never used these cameras, but I'm looking at this. I'm like, it's open gate on a crop sensor. That's kind of neat, you know? But only in the newer models like the XT5, X. Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that as well. What's a good lens for the Sony E-mount to get good photos in night, low light aperture to get in more light? I've been using the Sirui lenses. The Sirui lenses are really cheap, and they're f1.2s. But anything f1.4, f1.8, f2, those are all decent low light lenses, you know. I actually bought this whole kit of lenses here. These are really nice. These are the Sirui sniper lenses, autofocus lenses. They're just cheap Chinese lenses, but they look really nice. F1.2, fuck, dude. Another lens collection that I like are the Sigma f1.4s. That's these lenses right here. They got the 12, the 15, the 16, the 23, the 30, the 56. They have a lot of options. Sirui Nightwalkers are amazing. Yeah, the Nightwalkers are great. I think the Sniper series, correct me if I'm wrong, the Sniper is a similar lens to the Nightwalker, except they have autofocus, if I'm not mistaken. Now, at f1.2, you're going to see a lot of chromatic, you know, some compromises in the lenses, because, again, they are like Chinese lenses, inexpensive Chinese lenses, so there are some compromises on them. But for the price, dude, like, if you're looking at this right here, and you just like, is there a, where are they singular? Here we go, look. Like, dude, this right here, a 16 millimeter f1.2 for under $300. Shit. Yeah. Yeah. So, would you call these cinema lenses, though? I wouldn't call these cinema lenses, would you? I saw that Mikey, Sirui, and Viltrox all got in a little bit of trouble for making unlicensed mounts. Should I buy a Sony A7 III or the 64? I would probably get the A7 III. I'd get the full frame if it's between those for sure. How bad is the rolling shutter on the R7? I don't think it's that bad. What are you filming or photographing? Like baseball and like tennis and lacrosse? What are you doing with it? The Sirui line is mostly cinema glass. Oh, so would it be fair for me to say if I have the Sirui Sniper series, Sirui Sniper lenses, that I have cinema lenses? Would that be fair for me to say? Negative view photo. What camera and lens are you currently using for the? Where am I at right here? Is it this one? For YouTube, I'm using an R50 with a 16 millimeter Sigma, and for TikTok vertical, I'm using a Canon R10 with a 23 millimeter lens. That's these cameras right here, and then I have a top-down shot. Ooh, I forgot to turn on one of my lights, guys. Now my setup is complete, see? Yeah, see? That's what was missing. What camera and lens would you recommend for commercial ads and short films for an agency that's starting out? R50V, bro. R50V. I will never stop recommending this camera, man. R50V. This is the one. This is the one. Especially if you don't have lots of monies. If you don't have a lot of monies, this is it, dude. Vanessa, hi. Should I buy a GoPro Hero 10 Black action camera for POV cooking live stream? If you want a GoPro, I don't have any experience with GoPros. I use DJI action cameras, DJI and what's it called? Insta360. But I think they're on like the Hero 13 or 14, aren't they? How much are the newer ones, the GoPros? Because I think they're only like $500, right? Yeah, I would just buy the latest one. This is like, you know, like unless the 10 is like $50, I would just I would just invest in the latest one. I would buy when it comes to action cameras, I always say buy the one with the biggest sensor. I have the Ace Pro 2. I gave that as a gift. I never used it. It was brand new in a box, but I gave it to a nephew of mine to play around with. And I also I have the Insta360 action cameras, the X5 Insta360, the DJI Action 5. All great. The 6 is really nice, but I didn't want to buy another action camera, you know? Is the Sony 28 to 70 FE kit lens a good option for the ZVE1? I shoot cars. It's good to get you started, but I don't recommend any kit lenses for long-term use. Is there any cheap Canon mirrorless cameras good for beginners? The R50. I have the DJI Action 6. Love it. Yeah, that one has I think it currently has the biggest sensor. Yo, I just bought a Nikon D31. Any tips you could give? It's mint condition, just 5 clicks if that helps. 5K clicks. My tip to anybody that just got a camera is go outside, man. Touch some grass and start using the cameras, you know? Vanessa, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate you. Yeah, my general tips, guys, for people that just bought cameras is go touch some grass, get outside, start using it, start setting up a little still life scene in your house so you can practice photography in different lighting conditions. If you have a Sony ZV-E10, what lens would you suggest cinema for best quality content creation? I like the Sigma stuff, but I just recently discovered these sniper lenses, and these are really good. You can buy them as a kit. You can buy them as a kit, which is what I did. I bought all 5 of them. They're all really nice. My favorite is the 23 millimeter and the 16 millimeter. But you can also buy them individually or in in sets. So they have 2 sets. They have this one, the 16 and 75, and then they have a trio. They also come in 3 different colors. I got the white ones. But again, you can buy them individually. But if you're looking for something a little bit nicer, the Sigma prime lenses are really nice. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, Vanessa. Appreciate you. I just got a AGFA Captain PD 1930s medium format film camera. Cool. Would you say the vignetting of wide aperture such as f1.4 is restrictive or problematic? No. I wouldn't. Cass, have you used any of these lenses, man? Because to me, it sounds like you're trying to solve for problems that you haven't encountered yet, which is like a really unproductive way about going about things. Like, go out there, do these things. You know, get the camera, get the lens that you like, learn from your mistakes, and just get out there. But if you just spend time like analyzing and analyzing and analyzing and analyzing, you get no progress, right? Especially if you have any active goals. I have used the EXDS 30 millimeter Sigma. That's a nice one too. I like that one. The 30. I like the 23. That's what I'm using right now, actually. I have 1K6. I want to do vlog and beauty. Can you suggest me a combo? Oh, you have $1,600 and you do vlog, and you want like an interchangeable lens camera. The R50V, dude. R50V. Get this camera right here. R50V, and then get something like the 23 millimeter. Did I ever add the 23 millimeter here? I don't think I ever did. Let me add it. I think when I made that list, the 23 didn't exist. There it is. Boom. RF mount. The 23 millimeter is what you're looking at me on TikTok with. 30 millimeter is just a little bit more compressed. But yeah, I would totally get something like this. The R50V and this lens right here, the 23 millimeter. Sony for the value in terms of lenses, yeah, but the cameras from Sony's are usually more expensive when you're looking at them like apples for apples. Apples to apples. Thank you for the roses. Thank you for the roses. Why the R50 versus the Won't ZVE10 Mark II? The ZVE10 Mark II is generally a better camera. I think those are in two different classes, truthfully. Yo, what do you think about the Sony ZVE1? I like the ZVE1. And what lens would you recommend for vlogging? Probably a 16 millimeter or a 24 millimeter full frame. Yeah. What about the Z5 Mark II? The ZV line is affordable. Well, see, here's the thing. Like, you know, the camera that I compared to the ZVE10 II is the R50V. And like this camera right here is $600, where the ZVE10 II is $1,000. And I would argue, man, owning both of them and using them, this one's $1,200, bro. I would say that the R50V is like 90% of the way there for literally half the price. So that's kind of my view on that. The Sigma lenses are nice, but Sony cameras generally are more expensive. The lenses are cheaper because you're not buying Sony lenses, first party lenses. Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why Canon will only like release their mount system legitimately through Sigma, because they're a trusted partner. You know what I mean? What's the 10% that's not there? Between the R50V and the ZVE10 II, the ZVE10 II, in my opinion, has like better, faster autofocus. But what's more important to me is the larger battery. So the camera itself is a little bit nicer to daily drive with a bigger battery. The R50V has those tiny little rinky dinky batteries that like you need like two and a half to three of them to compete with the. I just had some here. Yeah, these ones right here, the Sony batteries versus the little other batteries. The Sony ZV-E10 II also has some pretty cool, like it has one feature that I really like. It's called like product demo mode. So essentially when I put up a product to the lens, let's go right here to the lens, it zooms in like super snappy. Have you ever seen those content creators that have to like block their face to like show a product? The ZV-E10 has the autofocus that's super snappy that knows that, hey, I'm showcasing a product. So that's why I say like it's about 10 to 5% of the way there, you know? Yeah, and Canon, negative view photo, Canon over the years, it took them several years, 4 or 5 years to really build out their RF line. But now they have some pretty reasonable, great quality uh, STM lenses. It took them 4 years to do it, but they got there. Hi, I'm a sculptor. Oscar, how are you? Hey, I had a buddy with that last name, Covarrubias. Hi, I'm a sculptor and I also draw. I'm going to buy a camera to film my artistic process, but I have no idea which one to buy. Oh, cool, bro. I would get bro, I'm telling you, man, I'm not going to stop recommending this camera, dude. The R50V, bro. The R50V. It's just such a no-brainer to me, man. It's just such a no-brainer. And then for the lens, for you, depends on how close you are to your subject and how close you want the camera. But I would probably do something like the 10 to 18. I would do this lens right here. I would do that camera and this lens right here. And actually, I own that. Here we go. I own this. This is the 10 to 18. And this is actually the camera that you're seeing right here. This is an R50V. So I would use this, and that camera is so good. I'm not bullshitting you guys. I own 2 of them. That's how much I love it. Yeah, this is the R50V. This is a super expensive lens. Maybe I shouldn't say super expensive. It's an expensive lens. But the R50V, and then I would pair it with this lens right here, the 10 to 18. So just like this. This is the combo that I would buy. 10 to 18, you'll be able to get really super wide, and when you need to punch in a little bit more, you'll be able to zoom into 18. Just depends on the size of your studio, But that's what I would do. This, by the way, is my everyday carry, you guys. The R50V with the 17 to 40 Sigma lens. This is a really nice combo for me. I daily drive this camera and lens. About 80% of the time I daily drive it. Sometimes I'll switch it up to like an R8 or whatever. The R50V is my favorite for... Yeah, exactly, bro. It's just so clean, man. So easy to use. It's affordable. Received the vintage 1930s to 1940s folding and realized I need light seals. Yeah, you got to be careful with those older cameras, man. I mean, if you like it as a hobby and you like tinkering and stuff like that, they're very cool. I have an old camera from the 1970s, and it's cool, Thank you very much, brother. Which one would you recommend as a first camera between the ZVE 10 and the Mark II? I would get the ZVE 10 Mark II, ZVE 10 II, 100%. The Z7 for what, though? Did I miss a comment? Probably did. 11 viewers on YouTube. Look at that. Wow. For those of you guys just joining over on YouTube, we're just talking about cameras, lenses, gear, all that kind of stuff. If you are interested in any of the products that I use currently in my videos, including lights, lenses, cameras, accessories, you can find all that stuff if you're on TikTok in my profile page, my link in bio. And if you're on YouTube, welcome. Happy to have you. You can find all of this in my link in bio, or link in the first link in the description, excuse me. On this list, you find everything for my YouTube set, all of the cameras that I actually own, every single one of these cameras. In December, I did get rid of 2 cameras. I will admit that. It was a sad day for me. I got rid of the R6 Mark I and the R6 Mark II. And then a bunch of accessories, tripods, filters, clamps, all kinds of little odds and ends. If you're curious about what cameras I'm currently using, on YouTube I'm using a R50 with a 16mm f1.4 from Sigma, and then on TikTok vertical I'm using a Canon R10 with a 23mm lens. If I'm on a budget, is it worth buying the ZVE 10? I don't think so, Doggy. I think you should just save up for the ZVE 10 too. A 65 or a ZVE 10 for a streamer? I think I'd probably go with the ZVE10, Nikki. But if you can afford, if you can save up a little bit more shekels for the ZVE10 2, I'd go for that one. Hi, can you recommend me between the Canon R50 or M6 Mark II? R50, 100%. Is your TikTok camera vertical too? Yeah, this camera right here, I set it up vertically. And then my YouTube camera is an R50, and I set that horizontally. Curry Hang Fujifilm X-T100. That one's a little old, right? That's the third iteration. It's a little bit older now. I've never used the XT. I've only seen people use the XF100. Right? Is that the X100 series? It is, right? Except the XT is the third one or the second one? I forget. I forget my Fuji cameras. Yeah, it is. Or is it not? No, it isn't. Never mind. I misspoke. You guys. These are interchangeable lenses. These are still a little bit of an older camera, though, isn't it? UHD 4K 15p? What the fuck is that? 4K 15p? What is that? Lord, who keeps telling people to buy into the Canon M system? I don't know. Also, another thing, negative view photo that I've realized, include in the people that have asked questions in my little corner of the internet. I have a lot of people from overseas, like a lot of people from the Philippines, a lot of people from like Southeast Asia, and a lot of those guys are looking at like M series cameras. I think it's probably just what's available to them, you know? Yeah, I did notice that though. I did notice a lot of people looking at the M series, but I don't. The only people that in the United States that I would recommend them to is if they found it for like $300 or somebody gifted it to them. Like I said, I gifted my M50 to my sister, and she fucking loves the camera. She loves the camera. So do I though, but I wouldn't tell somebody to buy it nowadays. I kept my 3 M6 Mark IIs because I use them with my ATEM. Yeah, that's a good way to use them, sure. Should I buy the Sony ZVE10 Mark II? You should. Katakos, you absolutely should, broski. 12 viewers on the YouTubes. What up, YouTube? YouTube, if you guys are just joining us over here, we're just answering basic questions on cameras. I try to answer as many questions as possible. And I have the chat here from TikTok so you guys can see what kind of questions TikTok is also asking. What camera are you recording on now? For TikTok, I have a R10 with a 23 millimeter. And for YouTube up here, this one is a R50. People forget that the ZV cameras also, yeah, they're pretty easy to set up as webcams. But I think the USB-C only lets you do 1080-30, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of people, especially people that are in the streaming niche, particularly gamers, want to be at like 60. And I don't know if you can do that via the USB-C. I don't think so. I bought a Nikon D5200 at a yard sale. Good buy. How much was it, Morales? Now the new ones, if you have USB 3, you can do 4K. Not for streaming. I know because I've tried it, but I could be wrong about that. There's some limitations of going over USB-C. That even though it's a 3.0, the software won't recognize it as anything above 1080p. You do buying questions? I do. $85? Bro, anything for $85, man, is like, I don't know. Morales, respectfully, it's $85, bro. Unless the camera is broken and doesn't shoot or fire, it's a whatever. You know what I mean? No disrespect to your $85, but I think it was worth a shot. As long as it actually fires, and produces an image. Seems to work fine. There you go. So yeah. Anything under, including lenses or including cameras, as long as they're working, anything under $250 to me, respectfully, is totally worth checking out. Like, check it out. Understood that $250 may seem like a lot of money to a lot of people, because it is a lot of money. But in this world of the camera space, shit's expensive. I don't know. I shoot medium format, so I don't save money on anything. Yeah, there you go. See? Unless you're like Negative View Photo and his big Mr. Big Money Bags over here. Just trying to figure out how to take a portrait pic. Oh, it's easy, bro. Just point it at somebody's face and fire away. I'm planning on buying a Canon 5D Mark III, but I'm stuck between that and the 6D or the 1DX. I'd buy whatever camera is newer. Unit untilts. Some of your guys' screen names are wild. Fuji versus Hasselblad. Hasselblad is pretty fancy. Hasselblad is pretty fancy. I think I would probably go with Fuji. Only because I think it's more readily available. Hasselblad is just like, it's my opinion that Hasselblad is kind of like a fancy Bugatti. Like it's a nice to have, like out in the distance, and like, kind of like Leica. They're super expensive, like super premium, They're all pretty old, but the 5D is a bit newer. I'd get the newest one with the least shutter count. Unless it's the 1DX like 3 or the 1DX, a newer 1DX. But if it's the 1DX1, that one's like 20, 30. That one's like 25 years old, isn't it? How old is the 1DX, the original 1DX? Oh, 13 years old. My bad. Originally released in 2010, so 13 years. Yeah, 13 years is... So that means that the 1DX2 and the 1DX3 is a little bit newer, of course. Yeah, the 1DX Mark III. Is it a 1DX Mark III? Damn, those are still $6,000. Holy fuck. People use these in like fucking war zones, though. That 1DX3 is still crazy. Yeah, I can't believe it, dude. $6,000. Holy fuck, boys. Here's a 1DX Mark III for $1,000. This is used. Excellent condition. Look at this. Excellent condition is... This is a 1DX Mark... Oh, 1DX Mark II, excuse me. Doesn't look like it has a battery, though. But I don't know. I don't see really an appeal for... Unless I can get a 1DX Mark III for, like, super cheap, I wouldn't even consider these cameras. Truthfully. Yeah, 2013 isn't bad, and it's exactly right. It is a tank, man. Those are cameras that like I said, same with the 5Ds, the 5D4s. Those are cameras that go into like war zones and shit, Just went from Nikon D800 to the Canon R6 III, and wow, what an upgrade. Ben's Tech Channel. Yeah, bro. I always like to ask, man, Ben's, let me ask you, what was the first thing that you noticed that was like, fuck, that's impressive? Because people like, you know, that are still in the DSLR old school like cameras that aren't mirrorless are like stuck in their ways and like, this works just fine. This is just fine. I'm like, yeah, sure. But have you tried it, man? The new ones are really impressive, dude. Bro, you also got the 28-70 f2, bro. You went all out, man. Congratulations, Ben's Tech. The Barber, Danny G. Is there a way to connect my Sony a7 IV to my iPhone and use the external camera for streaming? To use my iPhone to use it as an external camera? I don't think so. I've never done anything like that. You want to use your iPhone to stream and cast the view from the camera. I've never done anything like that. You giving advice on camera gear? Trying to answer as many questions as I can. Focusing is crazy good compared to that D800. Oh yeah, bro. Right, that 5K on a camera. Yes, the Ninja phone adapters. There you go. Do you need to have a Ninja monitor or is it just the adapter? I forgot about the Ninja phone adapter. How much is it? That seems like a really, I mean, Ninja phone adapter. Seems like a really, if it's expensive, seems like an expensive workaround. Oh no, it's not that much. Look at that. $200. Is this it? Yeah, look at this. But then wait, then what happens? You put the USB-C through here, but then how do you go live on it? Ninja phone. You just need a USB-C. Then you can just go live on TikTok? Should I buy the save money for the FX3 or buy the A7 IV? It depends on what you're trying to do. If you want to do like mostly cinema, Jip de Vries, obviously the FX3 and over the A7 IV. If you want like a hybrid camera, the A7 IV, pretty easy decision there. The one thing I got to say about the FX3 though is that I'm pretty sure that the FX3 Mark II and the FX30 and the A7S IV are like right around the corner. Sony over Canon? No, Canon is number one. How can I use that R6 to go live on TikTok in vertical mode like you're doing? So you can probably on the R6 Mark III, you can hook up a USB-C. It needs to be the proper USB-C cable and put that into your laptop or your computer, and it acts as a webcam. Or you can use something like this. That's a where are you? Are you on TikTok? You can use something like this. It's called a capture card. This is from Elgato Camlink. They sell a bunch of different ones. I like Elgato products. This hooks up via HDMI. You take your R6 Mark III HDMI cable to HDMI, and then this hooks into a USB port onto your laptop or PC, and then it acts as a camera. If you've never gone live on TikTok before, you'll need to do some like proving that you're a real boy before it'll give you access to some of the other features, but it takes like a day or two. It takes like a day or two, and then you'll get full access to the entire suite. What I'm doing to go live is I'm using OBS to multi-stream to YouTube, and I'm using a vertical virtual camera to TikTok. It is going to be warm this week. I was thinking about going live, doing a little bit of street photography live later. What do you guys think? Should I do it? I saw it was like 78 degrees. All right, Negative View Photo. Thanks for hanging out, bro. I appreciate your wisdom and all of your knowledge, man. Always welcome here. Should I buy the Sony 6700 or the Sony? I would buy the 6700. FX30 is crop sensor. It is. If I have a Canon 77 DSLR, is it worth buying an R50 as an upgrade? The R50 is a much newer camera. Yes. It's going to be warm this week. We have the same headset. Twinsies! I go live all the time, but I couldn't get it to go into vertical mode plugged via USB-C. Oh, bro, all you got to do, bro, is turn the camera from horizontal and turn it vertical. So instead of like this, go like this. What do you use to go live? Do you use a USB-C or do you use a, what's it called? A HDMI? What's your channel about? Ben's Tech channel. I have to check it out. Send me a DM whenever you go live next. But the stream stays horizontal. Then you have to right click. So if you're on TikTok Studio, you can there's this right here, and then you can rotate this. And then also, if you see this over here, this is vertical, and then this is horizontal, and this is both. That makes sense? Now, how about the 5D Mark III versus the A7 Mark I? Ooh. I don't know. I don't know why you're comparing those two cameras. That's such an old battle, you know. I'd probably do the 5D Mark III if I had to. Torn between the RX 107 or the Ricoh GR4 40mm. Personally, is that the Ricoh the newest one? I would do the newest. Which one is newer? That's what I would pick. Those are great options, but I'd pick the one that is newer. And if one has a larger sensor, I'd pick the one with the newer one or the larger sensor one. I'm doing shoppable live, so the streamer website didn't have any settings like that. Yeah, so I also have that streamer website, but what you got to do is you got to use TikTok Live Studio. And then in your streamer website, bro, what you do is, so I've done that as well. Here, I'll show you. I can open up my streamer live. I won't go live on streamer, but what you do is you have your TikTok Live Studio set up and going. And then you go to, where do I have it? TikTok Shop Streamer. And now, right here, if you notice up here, event Untitled Live is happening now. You can go live and join this current live that you're doing. And when I do this, then my vertical format is already showing. Yeah, Ben's Tech channel. I think I remember you, bro. I think we talked a while back. I haven't seen you in a while, though. Well, I want to start photography, and my wallet doesn't give me many options. Well, you said those were your two. No, it's all good, bro. But if I had to choose, I would do the 5D Mark III for sure. I think it's a better, beefier camera. If not, man, I would just save money. Save more, wait longer. You know, you've made it this long without a camera. You can go another 6 months of just saving and grinding and putting in the work, right? It's easy to forget, man, that we don't need to buy everything all at once. When we do that, it gets really expensive really quick. But you can wait another 6 months and save up your money. The camera's not going anywhere. I promise you. You know what I mean? Hi, is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is better than iPhone 15 Pro for the camera specs? They're very different cameras. I would use the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 differently than I would use a cell phone. Which PD strap do you recommend for form rope, form leather, or looking for light leash or more casual? Depends on the camera. I have leather straps, I have thin straps, I have thick straps, I have all those. And it depends on what I'm gonna be wearing that day. But yeah, I buy let's see, where are my straps? I think I have the straps here somewhere. Here we go. So I've bought thin ones, thick ones, straps, leather ones. I've bought all kinds. You guys can find all these links in my description on YouTube. First couple links on the description. And on TikTok, you can find it in my link in bio on my profile page. Yo, I'm looking at a new cam for videos, you know? Cool. Ricoh has more APS-C CMOS sensor while the Sony has a 1-inch sensor, which is best suited for taking photos. Yeah, I would either go with either the newer camera or the one with the larger sensor. Should I buy a Nikon ZF? A lot of people hate Nikon. Nah, bro. If that's what you want, man, get the Nikon. Have you tried small rig cooling fans? I have, but I prefer... I bought this one. Top down. I bought this one. This one is from Ulanzi. And what I like about this one is that it is spring-loaded. So the small rig one comes for like a specific... I have a lot of cameras. So the way that this one works is that it fits on all of my cameras via that spring loading device. And the small rig one, I don't know if small rig makes one like that, but the small rig one that I own, because I own two of them, two small rig fans, they come with its own case that like wedges in that little gap, which I didn't like. What I liked it better was this spring, because now I can take like multiple cameras, even my Sony camera, my R5 camera, and what I can do is I can fit this in all of them. I can put this in literally every single one. And these are all, you might be like, oh, they're all the same. Like, no, these are all different sizes. Not by a large margin, but even the Sony one that I own, like they all fit behind it. And they work great. They work great. They're not as good as an internal fan, of course, but they will keep your camera cool. It'll buy you some extra time. Oh, and also it only works for, if it wasn't obvious, for camera screens that pop out like this. This one right here is from Ulanzi. And do I have it on here? I don't know if I ever added it. Let's see. Did I ever add it over here? Where should I add it? Should I add it to accessories, guys? Lens filters, Canon camera rigs. Maybe I'll add it to camera bags and accessories. It doesn't feel like it belongs over here, though. Mics and audio. Maybe lens filters. Lens filters and accessories. I'll add it here. Ulanzi fan. Here it is. Boom. Comes in two colors. Ooh. 2 speeds. You can use this like with constant power, so it has an internal battery that doesn't last very long, 30-40 minutes. Like it'll be good in a pinch, but it also has constant power via USB-C. I hope that was helpful. Dude, thanks for the help. You're awesome. Did I solve your problem, Ben? I want to start sports photography. What's a good camera with a budget of 3K? R6 Mark II. Get an R6 Mark II and then get a nice lens. You might be a little over that budget. Maybe get an R6 Mark I and get a nice lens. Or a used R6 Mark II. I haven't checked yet, but it looks like that will work. Yeah, it should work. I've done it all the time. That's how I go live on my shopping thing. I don't go live very often on TikTok Shop anymore because I keep getting violations. So I stopped going live on TikTok for TikTok shopping. Because I'm not really built or I'm not really set up to do TikTok live shopping just yet, you know. I bought the Lumix S2X over the A75. Will I regret it? The S5 2X? I don't think so. Yeah, the violations are crazy. Yeah, I get violations all the time on TikTok. So that's why I'm multi-streaming right now, you guys. Multi-streaming to this is my view over in the YouTube land, and then I'm vertical over on TikTok. So I am currently multi-streaming, and I'm kind of doing this and dabbling. That's why I'm on here so early, because I'm testing out new verticals like YouTube, and so far so good, man. My YouTube is slowly growing over time. I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with its performance, and some of the analytics that come from it too are really, really nice. Or I'm happy with them, I should say. I just got an EF 300mm 2.8. Nice, dude. What camera should I get? You got a lens for a camera? That's wild. What camera are you looking at? Yeah, what camera are you currently looking at? Did you get your TikTok stream key for OBS? How are you able to get it? I don't have a stream key for TikTok. What I do is I use OBS, and then I use OBS virtual camera to stream to TikTok. So I'm sending a virtual cam to TikTok, and then in TikTok I'm selecting the virtual cam, and then that's how it's all linked together. So my OBS and my OBS scenes are linked to the virtual cam, and that's how I can change all my angles. I did add a new camera angle. Look at this, guys. Here you guys can see my desk if I'm ever like working on a camera build or something, or want to show you a specific, a little bit closer instead of this top-down version, which still works, but and that's an AI camera, so it like moves and shit. Thoughts on the Fuji T1? T1? I've never used that Fuji T. I've never seen it. Good for sports and motorsports? Bro, I quit. Holy Stream Decks. Yeah, I got 2 Stream Decks. I got a couple more in my other setup. I have multiple setups, guys. This is one of my major setups. And then for TikTok Shop, I use that desk over there, where I have a bunch of products that I need to review. I got a bunch of shit. So over there is where I do TikTok streaming for TikTok Shop. But because I'm not doing as much TikTok Shop, oh, that's a nice setup over there too, though. And then I have a third one where I haven't really gone live. I've gone live over there in my studio. It's actually my living room, but I call it a studio to make me sound fancy. And I just powered it up with hardwired internet, so I might be going live over there. That PC over there, I haven't tried multi-streaming, though. And also, I only have one monitor over there. This kind of reminds me of what I was talking about earlier. Like, when you start trying to buy everything that you need all at one time or within a short span, the money quickly adds up. But what I've been trying to do, just because of limited resources, I try to buy what I need over the course of a year. So I've been setting up this scene and this whole thing for about 9 months, where I'm finally at a spot where I'm like, okay, I'm finally in a good place, you know. Yo, I want a recommendation on a camera. What are you trying to do, Navin? Now I'm thinking of the A7 Mark One. I wouldn't buy either of those, man. If you can swing the the A7 III at least, I would go for that one. I have the Nikon D53 right now, and I want to upgrade. I just want something affordable, like 500 AUD. How much is the R50? What's AUD? 500 AUD. $300, $400. Fuck, bro. I don't know, man. That's like nothing. That's like very, 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 very small budget. I would probably look at. Let me see. I really don't recommend cameras unless you have like 700 to 1,000, man. Anything less than that to me is, truthfully, it's a waste of money. Sony A500. And if you're saying like, oh, but I don't have money, well then find money, save money, practice some delayed gratification, you know. But here's the Sony A5000. This camera is from the 1900s. And it's right around your price range, but I don't recommend that fucking camera, dude. Oh, 2014. Look at that. 2014. Original MSRP $6,600. Okay, okay. So 2014. That's 12 years old. Not too bad. Not too bad. Just for TikTok vids, because I post tech I would just use your cell phone, bro. Yeah, I would just use your cell phone. For real, for real. I think anything under like $300, $400 is really, you're just wasting your money, man. Because your cell phone is plenty fine to do what you're trying to do. And then save up a little bit more loot, you know, save up some gold coin, you know, work a little extra jobs, put in some extra hours at your job, you know, mow a couple more lawns over the summer. What's the difference between the white lenses and black ones? I have a Canon R10. Difference between the which white lens? You need to stop spamming. If you keep spamming, I'm going to block you. So I should save up a bit more and get a better. That's what I would say, Navin. What I would do, Navin, if I was you, just keep using your cell phone, keep using whatever it is that you're using right now. If you want to create more videos, just use your cell phone. Your cell phone, if your cell phone is about 3 years old, within 3 years old, you can create some really nice content with just your cellular device. And then use that cell phone to save up some extra money to make more tech content, and then, you know, make a plan, make it a goal. And then the camera, Navin, that I would probably recommend at the very least is like a Sony A6000, 6100, a Canon R50, you know, those $700, $800 cameras. Why not the Canon EOS M50? I don't really recommend people buy the M50 anymore, just because it's a little bit older and it's a little overpriced on the used market. 70 to 200 or 700. The white lenses from Canon, and why some lenses are white, especially the long telephoto lenses. I saw on a Canon official video that they're white because they are meant to remain cooler underneath the sun. So like white will bounce light off instead of black that absorbs light. So it keeps the internals of those long telephoto lenses cooler, and they function properly longer. XT5 still worth it? Yes. What do you think about the A7C2 versus? I would pick the A7C2 for sure. Ooh, thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of engineering and a lot of design work that goes into, and a lot of science and physics that goes into the internals of a lens. So, um, lenses that are like super telephotos are usually used by like professional um, creators, photographers, videographers that are out like in the savannah and like out taking photos of polar bears and shit where the sun is like beating on them and they have to work properly in extreme cold conditions and extreme heat. So the reason why they're white is because they stay cooler in super hot days. Action 6 versus the Ace Pro 2. I would choose Jae-hun, the one that is the one that has the larger sensor, bro. Over on the YouTube world, hello YouTube world. What are you guys up to? 11 viewers. All right, 11 viewers. If you guys are just joining over on YouTube, all I'm doing is trying to answer as many questions as possible. Looks like we only got one person, two people. Nikon ZF. What about the Nikon ZF, buddy? Liam Treeweiler. What about the Nikon ZF, broski? What do you want to do with it? Looks pretty solid to me. Is that a full frame sensor? Oh, FX format sensor? What size is that? It looks full frame. She looks nice. She looks super retro, bro. Yeah, I like it. 25 megapixel CMOS sensor, 4K 30, Full HD 120. X-Speed image processor. Ooh, look at that. 3D tracking. Ooh, fancy. I wanted one of those. They look nice. I say do it. 18 seems a little expensive though. It seems like you want this for a very specific reason. So why would you pick this camera over anything else? Like why are you looking at this? Just because it looks cool? Like what's the reason that you want this one? The most powerful entry yet in Nikon's line of digital throwbacks. Got it. Good stuff. So this is just a good looking camera. Filmic steel frame, functionalized in vintage SLR. If it's nonetheless, it is I knew it, dude. I knew that this was a niche camera just because it looks pretty, and it does. They did a nice job. Yeah, it looks super old school. The price is a little high for me. The price, I think you're paying a premium because it's pretty. I think. Because that's expensive, dude. You could buy a really modern, a really like top of the line camera that is like from the other brands, the Sonys or the Canons. Hell, even Fuji for that price. But if you're looking for this look and the dials and all that stuff, you can't beat it. It's clearly there for a reason, you know. Recommend some beginner filmmaking camera. R6, R50V is the one that I recommend, boys. Oh, I just had it. Damn. R50V is the camera that I recommend. If you're a normie and a noob, you can't go wrong with the R50V, broski. This one right here. $600. Should I buy the Nikon Z6 III? Yeah, for sure. $100%. I'm telling you, this Canon R50V, If you guys are brand new to my stream, man, this is the most recommended camera. This camera right here was my most recommended camera last year, and it's going to be my most recommended camera this year, dude. That's this camera right here. Canon R50V. It's so fucking good that I actually own two of them. I don't know if you can see this on TikTok, but right here I have a second one. That's this guy right here. It's another R50V. That's this view right here. I have it paired with an 18 to 50 millimeter. But the R50V for $600, bro, fuck. Why Canon? Because Canon's number one. XT5 with the XF 1650. Good. Thinking about buying the kit. Yeah, the XT5. I don't love that kit lens, but if it comes with the camera, looks nice to me. Why Canon? Canon's number one. But rather the Nikon Z6 III. Flow, at that point you're kind of really just picking the brand, but the Nikon Z6 III is pretty nice. Another camera that you guys can look at is the Lumix S52X. Excuse me. Or the Lumix S52. This camera right here. This camera is ridiculous, dude. Look at this. $1,800 for this monster camera. And they have the X version as well. Chase, what up, Chase? What are your thoughts on buying from websites like MPB? I am pro buying from MPB, 100%. What about the ZVE 10-1? No ZVE 10-1. Min, should I buy a good laptop first or a good camera? What are you trying to do, Mins? Depends on what you're trying to do, broski. Can you make money with your laptop or can you make money with your camera? I would pick the one that you can make money with first, and then use that to buy the next one. What about a good hybrid camera for $600? I don't think a good hybrid camera exists for $600. You're going to make some compromises. What would be a good all-around lens for the XT5? The kit lens that you said is just a good starter lens, and then you can decide from there, bro. Really, because if you don't know much about lenses, man, you need to really cut your teeth on a kit lens. And it's a shame that you have to, but you got to learn why kit lenses are kit lenses, you know? Is that weather sealed? I don't know. The Lumix? It probably is. Weather sealed. Look at that. Weather sealed construction. Lumixes, dude, are really impressive, guys. The Lumix cameras are super impressive. For the price, the performance, the specs, they are really impressive. What makes more money, though, camera or laptop? That's up to your skills, bro. Do you have the skills that pays the bills? And where are your skills at, you know? Sony A7S III or FX3 or Lumix Panasonic for wedding video? FX3. That Lumix is super nice. Yeah, bro, they have this Lumix right here. This Lumix is really nice. And they also have the Lumix S52X. Or S5, yeah, S52X. Which is, I think it's this one. This one. It's a little bit more money. Discontinued? No way. I don't think so. There's no way. Really? Discontinued? There's no way. That doesn't seem right. They might not sell it anymore. Wow. This one was a couple extra $100, and I guess they don't make it anymore for some reason. That's weird. It was pretty much the same camera, except this one had a little bit more video features. And also the Lumix S1 looked really cool. This guy. This one's obviously more money. It's more monies, but this one was really nice as well. What about the Tamron 17-70 APS-C? to A7. I probably I wouldn't put a APS-C lens on a full frame sensor. I got a Canon EOS 1200D with a 7300. Okay, cool. Time for eBay. I held these cameras. I went to the camera store. Here's another pro tip for you guys. If you have a camera shop that's really close to you or in your area, go there. Visit the camera store, hold these cameras in your hand, ask questions, play around with them in the shop a little bit, and see what you like, you know, because you can have, like, you can romanticize these cameras all you want in your mind, but until you actually go out there and hold them in your hands, that adds it's like test driving. It would be like the same, like, as test driving a car without even or buying a car without test driving it. It just doesn't make sense. I go to my camera store all the time because I spend a lot of money with them, but also I just go in there just to hold cameras. I'm like, ooh, you know. And they're totally cool with it. And those guys are always like super lonely anyways, the guys at camera stores. That they're like, they want to talk cameras, you know. They wouldn't have that job if they weren't interested in cameras. So what's the first camera you ever used? My cell phone. A7 III versus the R8. Ooh, I'd probably go with the R8, blessed Zima. The R8 is nice. EOS RP currently owned versus the 6D Mark II for motorsport. 6D? I wouldn't get a 6D. Have you looked at the R6? Can you review my Insta or not? Alessandro, I'm not doing free reviews anymore, broski. Maybe if I ever feel like it, I will, just on a random day, but I decided not to do free reviews. I do one-on-one calls now. Just because they're too time consuming for me to do them for free. 67 or XT5, mostly for pictures. I'd probably do the XT5. The XT5. I think the XT5 is like 40 megapixels, right? Yeah, I would do the XT5 for sure. The 40 megapixels is nice, dude. Also, you get OpenGate 6K, 30 FPS. What is a good for photo edit for free? Lightroom Mobile is free to some degree, but there's a couple of other editing apps. I don't use any free editing apps. On desktop and laptop, there's a couple more, but I just use Lightroom. Is the X100S still good? What is the X100S? Is that another? I think some people have been asking me about this camera today. Pretty cool. Point and shoot. Ooh, it's expensive. Why do you want this camera? Is this when did this come out? 16 megapixels. I mean, it's a cool little point and shoot. I like Fujifilm. I have the Fujifilm X106. What is the S? Is that the X100V? Is this the second one? The second version of it? Never used an R6, but I got provided a 6D for a shoot with a 100-400 lens, and it seemed better. It probably is better, but the R6. What's your budget? Because if you have the, so if you go for the 6D, you won't be able to use your RF lens. So if you go to the original R6 Mark 1, you'll be able to use your RF lens. I wouldn't go backwards, bro. I would be going, it probably is better because it's a nicer camera, but it's a much older camera. Canon R6. If you go to a Canon R6, the first one, which is a monster camera, $1,400, dude. This is a great camera, and you'll be able to use your RF lenses. I had this camera and I sold it. So I've had three R6s: the R6 Mark 1, the R6 Mark 2, and I have the R6 Mark 3 right now. And the one that was like the most painful to get rid of was the original R6, this camera right here. It's a really good camera. Well, J5, oh, I get it, bro. I get it, man, but it's like that triangle, right? Or that three. It's like you can either have it good, fast, or cheap. You can only have two of the options, right? It's like you want something that's good, but you also want to have it cheap. I'm like, you're gonna make some compromises, man. Yeah, I would buy something like this. Also, if you buy one of these cameras, dude, I mean, you could also get the R8. Have you looked at the R8? The R8's going to be better than your RP. But see, here's the thing. At this price for the R8, dude, I'd rather just buy the R6, which is a better camera. You know what I mean? But hey, do you, boo-boo? Luca, what would be one advice that you would give photography beginners? Go outside and shoot. Go outside and shoot. My sister has it. It came out around 2013, I think. Been using the Canon R50, but the X100S looks so cool. It does look cool. 100% it looks cool. 100% agree with you there. Yeah, 100% agree with you there. I have this guy, and the fact that it comes in black. This is the X106. And these Fujis, dude, these are really, really nice, dude. This is the latest one that they have. And then I just had added some accent colors to mine. So yeah, they're very cool cameras. But yeah, they're a Fuji, dude. So you're getting like that super classic look. I don't think you can go wrong with it. I'm getting a Canon R7 with a 50 millimeter, good for beginner. Hell yeah, dude! The R7 is really good. If you're looking for another lens that's super affordable for the Canon RF system, guys, the 16 millimeter lens is also really inexpensive and pretty decent. You can find it for $200 if you guys are just getting started. So I have the 50 right here, but this one is also really nice because the 50 on the crop sensor is going to be really punched in. And what happens when people get a 50 millimeter on a crop sensor camera, they're like, holy shit, you're going to be up somebody's nose because it's like super punched in. Color hunting is definitely a great challenge to start going outside. Yeah, just playing little games with yourself, Balato, that's really good too. Really solid advice. Yeah, just go outside and touch grass. So back to the advice that I would give to newbies. Go outside. Use your camera. I guess to add to that is basically the idea of something that I did when I first started is I bought a bag that carried my camera and a lens and maybe another lens on it, maybe two lenses tops. And I took it with me everywhere, like literally everywhere. And to this day, I don't leave my home without my camera. My everyday camera right now is this Canon R50V. I take this with me everywhere. And second to that point is on top of taking it everywhere, when you're just getting started, make an effort to pull it out of your bag every single day. Take it out every single day, take some video, take some photos. And then third part of that equation is to take those photos and videos into an editing software and edit every single day. Just do it. Do it for like, bro, if you do that for 30, 45, 60 days, by day 60, dude, you're going to be like, holy fuck. I actually know a little bit about photography and creating video and creating a good image. And save those images that you took in the first week and compare them to the last week of you doing this little experiment. I'm telling you, that's really a good way to fast track your learning. Is that the 100 megapixel one? The Fuji? No, that Fuji that I just showed you is 40 x106. Let's look it up. I forget exactly. I bought it because it Fuji X106 here. I think it's like 40 megapixels. Oops. Wrong one. I only like going to B&H. Here we go. X106. There it is. This camera's always out of stock, dude. Yeah, 40.2 meg. I bought it because of the 40 megapixels. Also because of this, the 35 millimeter full frame equivalent. Shit, I might take out that camera today. What do you think about the Samyang autofocus? Samyang AF24-70 f2.8 to use with the 6700. I've never looked at that lens. That sounds pretty interesting. How much is it? Just keep in mind on the 6700, if you're using a full frame lens, you're gonna have to account for the crop. Have you tried the XT5? I have not tried the XT5, but I've been looking at it a lot, and the XT5 is nice, dude. Yeah, this is really nice. Another 40 megapixels. Yeah. $2,000. Yeah. Nice grip on it too. The camera is sexy AF. Look at this. Look at all the buttons. What do all those numbers mean, you guys? Look at all these. What do these numbers mean? I like the black. The black one is nice too. The black one is definitely nice, but there's something about silver. There's something about silver for sure. The silver ones do look nice. Yeah, the silver ones definitely look clean. But I do like the sleekness of the black ones. The black ones do have... if I get another Fuji, I would definitely get a black body. Because I have a silver one already. It's about $800. Totally worth it. Yeah, 24-70 f2.8 for $800. It's worth a try. It's worth a try. Is the 50 millimeter good for street photography, or should I get another one? What camera is it? Remind me, Nikolai. Maybe it's me, but I feel like anything over the 30 megapixels is overkill. So my favorite camera of all time is the R5 Mark II. And that has 45 megapixels. And do I want to say it's overkill? No. I'll say it's not necessary. But when I take a photo that's 45 megapixels, anything over 24, dude, the fucking detail that you can get is unbelievable, dude. unfucking believable. Like you can really punch in into, so if you have an image that is the entire image, right? Like a photo, man, I can zoom into any fucking spot of that image with such great detail. Now, do you need to do that for every photo? No, of course not. But there's a big difference, dude. Like, big difference. The R7. So the R7 with the 50 millimeter, all you got to do is just keep in mind to multiply the crop factor to account for the crop factor. So a 50 millimeter on a crop sensor like the R7 is going to be really punched in. Like I was saying earlier, if you look at that and you're doing street photography, you're going to be really punched in. So just keep that in mind. That's why I was saying for any crop sensor lens, for any crop sensor camera, a cheap option for Canon is this 16 millimeter right here. This right here, 16 millimeters, I would say this is a better street photography, but it also depends on what kind of street photos you're taking, right? Depends on what kind of street photos you take. But you're not wrong, Unti units. How do I say your name? Untit. Edit on an iPad way worse compared to a laptop. A laptop, I like editing in Lightroom Classic, and tablets typically don't let you. I don't think Lightroom Classic works on tablet, and I prefer Lightroom Classic. But Lightroom Mobile is really good too. But if I had to choose, I'll use Classic. Is there a difference between RF and EF lenses noticeable? Swapping from the 70 f2.8 is a Mark II. No, the EF and RF glass is still really good. RF has some more tech, more features, faster autofocus, stuff like that. But it's still you're not going to be able to really notice a difference, in my opinion. For the normies, you won't notice. All right, thank you. I got you, bro. Also, love my nifty 50. You can make some really cool effects with depth. Yeah, but you have the RP, right, which is a full frame. So the 50 millimeter on a full frame is different than the 50 on a crop sensor. But yeah, 50 is great, dude. 50 is great. I just recently got a new lens. I'll show it to you guys. This is my Canon R8 with the 45 millimeter lens. f1.2, boys. So the Canon R8 right here with this f1.2, I think this is the #1 portrait kit, man. If you are on a budget, and mind you, this is $2,000, this is it right here, man. RP is bad for sports, right? I don't want to say it's bad for sports, but you won't get like those super fast. It's an older camera, so it has like its limitations. But will I say it's bad? No. I really wouldn't say any camera is bad except the Canon R100. That is a bad camera. I shoot motorsports and it's not ideal, but I get some really good shots. Only thing is auto. Yeah. Yeah, so if you have trouble with autofocus, the readout speed, the shooting speed is a little limited, but it's just an older camera. That's not the camera's fault. At the time when it came out, better tech didn't exist, but there's been a lot of improvements over the past 5 years, Is R50R okay for photo booth? Yes. Do you own Sony cameras as well? Yeah, I have one Sony camera. Check this out, guys. I made a little rig yesterday. A little Sony ZV-E10 camera rig. So this, I'm a real filmmaker with this, guys. So I do have one Sony camera, the ZV-E10 II. This bad boy right here. If you want to look, it does the job. Which is good, Sony or Canon for videographers? Typically Sony is preferred by videographers. Whoa. Pink Unicorn, what up, Pink Unicorn? Thanks for joining. Good morning, good morning. Have you had your coffee yet? I decided to try Pink Unicorn a different live time just to see what happens. See if I can catch people before they have their eggs and coffee. Just testing out these live times, you know. I have a banana matcha from Dunkin'. Yum. Nice. Ready to start the day. What type? Sony for videographers? FX30, FX3, ZVE 10.2, ZVE 1. I'm playing hooky today. Ooh, good for you. You deserve it. You deserve it. I have to get off here pretty soon myself. I got to go in. I work a hybrid schedule, but on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, I have to go into the office. Not mandatory, but I like to show face from time to time. So on Mondays and Fridays, I work from home. Winter Tamberg, thank you. Can I follow? Of course. Of course. That's not bad. No, definitely not bad. I will eventually move to full. I'll eventually make a request to work full time from home, but I'll do it over time. Right now, I don't mind the going into the office. I kind of like being forced to to get out the house. You know, see some people, talk to people, be outside, get some fresh air. Also, I'm in Philadelphia, and this week it's supposed to be really nice. But I am about to bounce, boys and girls. If you haven't followed on TikTok or subscribed on YouTube, now is your opportunity to do so. I do appreciate each and every single one of you for joining. Pink Unicorn, I'll probably be back later on after work. I might do a live later on where I'm doing some street photography in the city. I'll think about it. We'll see. All right, y'all. Toodles.